So then you realize that the true value that you get from the coaching and mentorship experiences usually is not going to be anything to do with the information that you're given. Because if it was, then the length of time that you spend with the coach is going to be the biggest determinant as to whether or not it's the best deal. But it's not the length of time, it's the length of time that the value sticks. Make sense?
Yeah.
If you get injected with some belief from Stephen Bartlett for 30 minutes and it fades away the next day because you're like, it was just motivational. That's not good. There's a difference between motivation and inspiration. Biggest difference? What do you think it might be?
Like motivation doesn't last all the time.
Hmm.
It's only temporary sometimes.
Yes. Biggest thing with motivation is that it's anything that comes from external. That's why it doesn't last. So I could be around motivation for a long time, but then as soon as it's taken away, it don't work anymore. Whereas with inspiration might not be as like what's the word? It might not be as intense in terms of the feeling of motivation, but how long it then lasts, and not just lasts, but starts to appreciate over time, is why inspiration is far more valuable than motivation. Now, if you're looking at the two now, when you compare Stephen Bartlett compared to your sisters, who do you think could give you more inspiration?
Sorry, Stephen.
Yeah. And do you think he would need that long? Like 30 minutes would probably be enough to give you inspiration.
Yeah.
And I share the anecdote with my personal experience when I met my mentor in Barcelona. Like, I think it must have been maximum a 15-minute conversation. That was 6 years ago. And that same conversation, I still talk about to every single person who I work with. The reason why is because from that 15 minutes that I spent with this guy who at the time, he had a business that did 100 million. Um, Now it's got to the point where it's done over 1 billion in sales. So I've literally witnessed the growth as well, but I've been able to, from that connection, 'cause I would never have felt the same level of inspiration as what I would have felt if I didn't actually get to shake hands, rub shoulders with them, he give me a hug, take a picture, everything like that. I just never would have felt that same inspiration. And the quality of the 15 minutes is going to determine everything because it's like some people, when they spend 15 minutes with you, like let's say, for example, it's Stephen Bartlett, you spend 15 minutes with him, but he's just like signing your autographs. That's probably not going to be the best 15 minutes. But if Stephen Bartlett genuinely wanted to give you inspiration in that 15 minutes, it's going to be an incredible 15 minutes. And so that's exactly what it was like for me is that 15 minutes changed my life. And that inspiration appreciated over time because that memory always stuck. And then everything else in terms of figuring out how to do the work, it just became natural. Why? Because like leadership isn't necessarily something that exists outside of you. Like no one is gonna one day give you a book, a CD, a DVD that you can plug in, and then after watching it, like you just become a leader. That doesn't happen like that. It's innate within. And it's just really about unlocking that. And once it's unlocked, then no matter what obstacle challenge is actually in front of you, you're gonna be able to take it head on and run towards it. So this is the thing is that like right now you're probably thinking, this is all good. This is inspiring. This is this is taking me in the right direction. But I want to know the skills. I want to know like how do I generate leads? How do I close sales? How do I scale like the business stuff? All of that's important too. But here's a really important formula to note down. 95% of your success is not going to be skill set. It's going to be mindset.
And also, I've decided that I don't want to do the teaching because, like, I get stressed, and now I've done it before, so I know what it's like to have that stress on you. So I'm thinking of hiring like teachers to take my place in doing the teaching. Do you think that's a good idea? Because it's not going to cost me a lot to pay them. But I know that if I do the teaching, it's going to be a great service. So it's just about finding people who are going to have that passion the same way I do for teaching.
Yeah, yeah. So the rule of thumb that I tend to have when it comes to outsourcing, because that's what you're describing there,
Yeah.
is if you're going to outsource, then it's always a risk. So you want to like have the risks minimized as much as possible. Uh,
Mhm.
and when you think of like what the risks could potentially be with outsourcing, what do you think the main risk would be?
I think maybe they're not putting a lot of effort in lesson planning and maybe calling in sick, missing days. What else is there? Just not following up with the students, like no corrections in the classes, maybe being a lazy teacher. I think that's the risk, some of the risks I'm thinking of. Is there anything you can think of?
I think you've put some of the major ones in there, which is like they're not going to do as good of a job as you. Like
Yeah.
that's the big risk. So,
Okay.
um, how do you mitigate that risk? You know, what can you do to actually make it so that there's a high likelihood that people will do as good a job or good enough of a job? What do you think you could do to mitigate the risk?
Maybe like having SOPs in place. I think
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
yeah, exactly. So the quality the SOPs are, then the more that the risk will be mitigated because it means that people can, without any guesswork, just follow what you've taught them to do. So then the question is, okay, how can you actually make the best SOPs?
Yes, the other one had to do that.
So this is the thing. This is why I say usually when it comes to outsourcing, um, the way that you'll make the best SOPs is going to be through actually like being good at the thing first yourself. And you don't
Mhm.
have to be an expert level. You don't have to be the best teacher in your organization, but you want to know enough to be able to get results yourself. So, for example, like if I'm talking about a result within teaching, it would be I'm good enough as a teacher to get a referral. That could be one result. Or I'm good enough as a teacher to get somebody to stay on as a client for the next month, you know? So those are just some metrics that you can kind of set out for yourself as a teacher. And then when you know that you're that good at what it is that you're doing, then the goal is about taking whatever's in your brain and essentially downloading it so that it can then be uploaded to the other teachers so they can just plug it in. But if the standard operating procedures that you're getting is just like from either the internet or ChatGPT, then it's like even if it's not necessarily working for the teachers, you won't really have that confidence to know that it's the SOPs. It might be that like it's you're the one that's guessing. Um, so essentially, it's like what you're describing is you want to be in the role of being the person that is uh, leading the teachers, teaching the teachers. That's where
Yes.
you want to be. You don't want to be the one who is um, having to fulfill yourself. So um, so there's one aspect that, but then the question is, okay, if you don't want to be the one who is fulfilling yourself, what would you actually do with your time?
Focusing on like content creation, driving sales, marketing, things like that. That's what I want to be doing.
Yeah. So this is something that could be really good for you. Then is now looking at kind of like which model you would want to take on, because even within something like tutoring and online teaching, whatever you want to call it, um, there's so many different models that you could actually take on. So the model that you're describing is like you're saying straight out the gate, I don't want to do the freelancing model, because if I do the freelancing model, then I'm just going to end up being a slave cog in the machine to my own business, and it's going to take even more time away from me. So you don't want that. Um, and then when you look at other models that you potentially think of, the next one that kind of comes to mind, if now you're thinking of outsourcing the teaching, that's now an agency model. So the agency model is essentially a model where you're connecting the teachers to the clients that wanting to have tuition,
Yeah,
and you end up becoming the middleman or the middlewoman who is just bridging the two of them together. So if you was to look at, what do you think of the, I mean, I think you can see what the benefits of a model like that, but what do you think the downsides might be?
the downsides of the agency model.
Yeah.
Um, I'm really not sure because okay, I'll be the middle. I bring the teachers to the clients. Um, I can't think of a downside. I'm not sure.
Okay, so that's fine because you've not done it before. I've done the agency model,
No.
and I can let you know what some of the difficulties with it is, or the downsides. Like, I'd say the main thing is you're going to get to a point where bringing in teachers to fulfill for you, like that's not going to be that difficult. In fact, like, even with Usman, for example, he did that very quickly himself. Didn't take a genius to do that part. He just found people on LinkedIn and got a bunch of tutors to help him out. So that part's not really that difficult. The constraint that I've had, and that I can kind of see that he's having a little bit too with his, is when it comes to recruiting to then expand when it comes to the sales and marketing. Because when you think of how you're actually going to generate clients, one of the ways that we've spoken about is how you'll do it through social media, specifically advertising on social media. And when you advertise on social media, like you're going to get a bunch of leads, but then how are you going to convert those leads? And you can do it in a way which is like trying to get results quick, which would essentially mean time and effort from you. And that's what you just described. Like you'd put time and effort into bringing them on board with yourself. Um, but just imagine when you've got maybe like hundreds of leads coming in a day, because it's a real problem. And when you get to that point, could you imagine like all day messaging the people, all day calling the people, all day, like you being the one that's doing the selling? It would become difficult. So one way that like that can be solved as a problem, and this is what a lot of people will do, is that they'll switch it from like communicating one to one when it comes to sales to then communicating one to many. So you might have been on some of these before, but when people do like live webinars, masterclasses, virtual events, so that's how those people are able to scale in terms of their conversions, by having that kind of system. So that's a way around it. But yeah, like the biggest bottlenecks is going to be around, how well are you able to convert at scale, and how can you fulfill at scale. And the thing is that the more you start scaling, the more the level of fulfillment in terms of quality, it's going to go down naturally. That's just something that you've got to accept. Because if you think about where you'll start off initially, like initially, if it's just you that's doing the teaching, then you can do it and imagine like it's 100% quality. So because it's 100% quality and it's coming from you, you have that responsibility. You know you can deliver on that. But then when you delegate it and you've got SOPs that you're giving them, you step into what we call the manager's role. And so the manager might have 5, 10 tutors, and instead of 100%, now it's like maybe they can only do 50% of what you can do. So if you're managing 10 people, I think even 10 is a lot. As that's probably going to be your capacity just as one manager. But managing 10 people, you've got higher output but lower quality. And then even beyond that, then you become like a leader of managers. So imagine that there's going to be 10 managers, and you've now also got like yourself as the leader of those managers. Can you see how like the quality will just drop, 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 but the volume gets a lot higher? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the thing. It's like when you're choosing the model that you want to go for, the biggest thing that I would say is like you want to be thinking almost like not what does my business look like in 3 months' time, in 6 months' time when I've quit my job. Because the last thing that you'd want to happen is like you build a business that you just don't want to scale because of like, the structure that you have with it and how much time it's requiring from you, or how many bodies are required within that ecosystem. So that model of the agency model is initially like you can make a lot of money with it because you start doing the numbers for the next 3 to 6 months and you're thinking, damn, I could have like 10 teachers all doing it for me. So initially it's like, yeah, you can move really fast and scale quick, hit those 5K months, 10K months. But if you want to be thinking, how can I get to 100K in a month? Agency model will start to become like very difficult and quite draining. Um, that's what I found. That's what Usman's found as well. So then the question is, okay, well, what other models exist? If you don't have the agency model, if you don't have the freelancing model, what other models do you think are out there that are available?
I don't know. The only two that I can think of is freelancing and agency. I don't know the other one, like a company or something. I don't know.
Yeah, because company reflects like, well, simply put, company is just a group of people.
Yeah.
So there's I guess two splits that you've got there. So on the one side, you've got independent solo. That's one model that you can go for, and you don't want to do that because if you do that, like again, it won't scale anywhere near as much as it could scale with people because there's only two ways that you can scale a business. You can write these down. What do you think they might be? If you can take a guess, two ways you can scale a business.
Don't remember. I'm not good at this.
I'm just checking what you've got in terms of your
Two ways
business.
to scale a business.
Yeah.
Like getting more clients. Like I don't know, like having more clients, like more group classes, things like that. That gives you
Hmm.
scalability. Or like what else
That's
is there?
yeah. That's more so like the effect that comes from scaling, but there's only two
Yeah.
ways you can actually scale it yourself with inputs. that you put in personally. So those two ways is either going to be through putting in more time or putting in more money,
Okay.
right? So you can see why, like, for example, you being the one that's the only one doing the fulfillment in terms of time, that's going to very quickly reach capacity because you've only got a few hours in a day, you know? But if you have an abundance of people, unlimited people, then you can always infinitely scale with time. Then the other thing that you're looking at is scaling with money. So again, if it's just you and your money that you're scaling with, um, then it's going to take a long time. But if you're leveraging, that's the key word that you really want to be thinking of when you're looking at scalability. You want to be thinking of leverage. Now, what's leverage?
You told me this before. Oh no.
Right. This is why you got to write it down.
Yeah, exactly. Can't remember. Sorry.
Okay. Simply put, um, leverage is about being able to get out the maximum for what you put in. And so there's a easy way that I can like remember what leverage is, not just the definition, but I look at the formula for it. So leverage equals outputs divided by inputs. We got that?
Yeah.
Outputs divided by inputs. So I give you an example. Like right now, if you look at how much leverage that you have within your job, if you put in 5 hours in a day at your job, how many hours do you get?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So
Yeah. So the thing in a job, there's not that much leverage because you're the only person that's working. You don't have a team unless you're someone that's a manager, because when you're a manager, you usually get paid more. You got more leverage for the business. So in a business, if you own a business, you want to be thinking, how can I have the maximum leverage possible so that I can put in um, an amount where when I do put that in, I'm going to get the best for what I put in. Like if you're putting in money, it wants to be that when you put in £10, you don't just get out 15, you're getting 100. That's maximum leverage. When you're putting in like, you know, 5 hours, you're getting out 50 hours. That's what leverage is all about. So when you're looking at a model, if you're thinking what's going to be a model that's going to be the best long term as well as short term, it's simply the one that's going to give you the most leverage over time. That makes sense?
yeah.
Yeah. So that's why like going the solo route, just initially, yes. But even when you're going solo, you don't want to do it without help. You want it to be that you've got some form of leverage. So what you're doing right now, where you are having conversations with me and we're doing these coaching calls, like this is leverage. Can you see how?
Hmm.
How is this leverage for you?
I'm inputting time for knowledge, for gaining knowledge, and for starting my business. So the output would be pouring the knowledge I gain through these calls, would be pouring into my business.
Yeah. Think about it like this. It's like if you are gonna look at leverage in the equation, it's like you want to measure the same variables on the top and the
Oh,
bottom. So
okay.
like, let's say, yeah, you use time as an easy one. So you're putting in time today of like showing up to the call. So let's say that you did 1 hour, easy number. So you did 60 minutes and you spoke with somebody else who has put in years of time, effort, and experience, then what you get back out is like you actually get years of experience back out. That's what you're gaining. So what happens in terms of time is that like the time for yourself will significantly then reduce in terms of what you'll have to put in elsewhere, if that makes sense. So the leverage is now the fact that you've reduced the cost of what would be necessary for you to get results.
Repeat that. I don't understand the last part.
Okay, so this call costs you like an hour.
Yes.
Yeah. But the price of your success to get to the point of like your first six figures online, that's going to cost you in time.
Oh, I understand now. Yeah.
So the current trajectory that you're at right now, it's like, let's say that this is going to cost you 5 years. That's a roundabout number that it would usually take a person to reach their first six figures if they're just doing it all by themselves. So, you know, that cost on its own is going to be 5 years. But then by having these conversations, paying the price up front, that's what reduces it then to instead of 5 years, it could be 1 year, 3 months, 6 months. So that's leverage.
Okay.
Makes sense? So leverage, it works with the price of something, it works with the cost of something, it works with the value of something. When I say those three words, what do they mean to you? Like, what's the biggest difference?
So leverage works to the price.
Yeah, price, cost, and value. Like, what's the
Oh,
difference between those? Yeah.
so the price would be like, is it how much like I'm willing to pay? And then the cost would be what I've spent, like time, money, energy, things like that. Ooh, so much noise. And value. I'm not sure about value.
Okay. So you're right, but you're also a little bit off with some of them. So this is actually what they mean. So price, simply put, is what you pay now in the short term, immediate. That's like the price of anything. So when you go and buy something from a shop and you see a price on that, then it's just got the exchange of the moment. That's all it is. Now, when somebody is looking only at the price, they don't have true awareness because the truth is that like we're not just animals that are reacting instinctively to certain experiences, but we also have as human beings the capacity to think into the future. So when we're only making decisions based off of price, then we're being highly animalistic. Whereas when we start transcending into looking at the cost and the value, now like we've gained a next level awareness. And again, like with all three of these, there is a currency. So here's another side note that you can make. Currency is in three forms as well. Three main forms. Like there's other ones as well, but I say these are three main ones that you want to be aware about. So currency, you've got the money, that's a form of currency. Time is a form of currency, and attention is a form of currency. Make sense?
Can you explain how attention is a form of currency?
Yeah. So right now, you're on this call. Would you say that you're paying attention to the call?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So it's literally when we use that word, it's paying attention, meaning that there's an exchange happening in terms of the attention that you're giving now from what you actually have available.
Okay.
Because throughout the day, you don't have an unlimited amount of attention. You can only give attention to what's important to you, right? So then the next question is, out of the three main resources that exist, the three main currencies, which ones are the most valuable out of the three? What order does it go in? Money, time, attention.
I the order. I think it's money, time, attention. I think so.
Yeah. So you think money is the most valuable, time is the second, and attention is the least valuable?
And let me think about it again. Let's see. Maybe time is first, then attention, because you have to give attention to get something in return, and then money.
Okay. So do you want to know the actual order?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the actual order is attention is the most valuable, time is the second most, and money is the least valuable.
Okay. I was close.
Yeah, I think you knew that money wasn't that valuable, and time valuable.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the three orders that it wants to be. And I mean, even if you think about it right now, like look at the biggest companies of the world, companies like Facebook, X, TikTok, like all of these companies, they just have the most amount of attention on their platforms. And then do you know what they do with the attention? They sell it,
Oh, good.
right? So all they're doing is grabbing all this attention and then they're just selling it on auction to whoever wants to buy it, whoever the highest bidder is. That's their business model. So that's showing you how, like, attention truly is the one of the biggest assets that you personally have for yourself. Like your attention, out of everything that you want to protect the attention. Like so many people, you see them and they've got the fanciest wallets and they put it into a safe and they're taking care of their money. I'm not saying don't have security over your money. I'm saying that same level of security that you have for your money, have for your attention, right? And then when you start to have that level of security for your attention, this is a biblical principle now, which is, whatever you manage, you get given more of that thing. So if you're not managing your own attention well, what do you think is going to happen? All your attention is just going to be lost on to other people who are managing attention better than you. I want to find the biblical confirmation of this as well, so that you can truly appreciate this law. So can't remember exactly what verse, but I will find it. So whatever you misuse, you lose. It's the law of use, and you want to make sure that you're managing your attention, like I said, just as well as you're managing your money, and so your time as well. Going back to the price cost value, so we've got price, which is what you pay now, in money, time, and attention. Make sense?
Yeah.
So price is money, time, and attention. The currency of, or sorry, the next one is cost. So what is cost? Cost is what you pay forever. It's what you pay in the long term. Your eternal cost. And that's in time, money, and attention as well. this is like the biggest game changer when you start seeing the real cost of things, because like you will just be able to make such better decisions than so many people, because everyone is just thinking about the price, the short term. And the people who think just about the price, these are usually people that have what we call a scarcity based mindset. You know what that means?
Yeah,
What's a scarcity based mindset?
like since you're only worried about price, like your mindset is just focused on like things that could wear away, like it's scarcity. You're not thinking about the bigger picture or trying to solve a bigger problem. It's just scarce. Yeah. You're not thinking about, your mindset is not focused on the bigger picture or the bigger outcomes.
Yes. And it's the fundamental belief is that like, I am not enough. I I'm not doing enough. I don't have enough. There isn't enough. That's scarcity. The opposite of that is abundance. So somebody who is thinking about value, they have an abundance-based mindset. But and that's the complete opposite belief, which is I am enough, I'm doing enough, and there is more than enough. I have enough. No matter whether or not they've got money in their bank account, they still have that abundance mentality of like, I am enough, I have enough, I'm doing enough, I am more than enough. That's the abundance mentality. So the middle of this is the cost. The cost isn't necessarily about scarcity and abundance. It's actually more about the like practicality, the logic that a person brings to the equation. So being able to look at the true numbers that exist, not just the ones that appear. For example, like what's the last purchase that you made?
Starbucks hibiscus tea.
Okay, so let's work this out. The price of a Starbucks cup of coffee is how much?
Like £3.15.
Wow.
I know it's expensive.
That's
That's what
that's a lead right there. That's a lead. So yeah, Starbucks cup of coffee, £3.15. And what's the cost of that?
money leaving my bank account. Well, the cost would be what you pay for a return cost. Well, yeah, losing my money. Yeah, just to have a cup of tea or coffee.
That's the price.
Oh, that's the price. Okay.
Yeah, that's what you pay now. You paid the money. So the cost, remember, is what you pay forever, looking at the long.
Yeah. So what would the cost be?
Yeah, what would the cost of a Starbucks coffee today be in 6 months' time?
Oh, in 6 months' time, it would cost me like more income. Like like for example, if I want to pay for ads or focus on like content creation, I think it would cost me a lot in 6 months' time if I spend paying for Starbucks coffee um, weekly or a few times a week. I think it will cost me a lot in the long term.
Hmm. But when you're saying like the biggest cost of a Starbucks cup of coffee right now, are you saying that the biggest cost is going to be uh, your financial cost? Is it going to be is the biggest cost going to be money, time, or attention? What do you think the biggest cost would be?
Money,
Okay, why?
because I'm spending my money because it's so expensive.
Okay, but it doesn't cost you much time, is what you're saying. Like when you get a Starbucks cup of coffee, how much time does it cost you?
No, not doesn't cost me time.
No,
No.
I mean it. You just like you don't have to put in
Oh
any.
wait, I get what you're saying now. Let me just
Yeah.
have a look. Um, yeah, it would cost me time because I'm going there and I'm
Mhm.
waiting in queue and I have to pick it up. So it is costing me time just always going to the cafes to pick up something.
Yeah. So roughly, how much time would you say? that it cost you to get the Starbucks cup of coffee when from the point of time of which like you want it to then having it? Like how much does it usually cost?
I say like 35 minutes, like
Okay.
to leave my house to get there.
Yeah. So we're looking at 35 minutes. And then there is also the value that we can look at too. But let's get into that a little bit later. Let's keep it simple for now. So we've got the price. Those are actually two things that you've given for the price because it's very much short term, the time and the money. Now, if we're looking at the cost of it, then that would be 6 months potentially of paying for a Starbucks coffee a day. Let's say that. So if you did 6 months of £3.15, number one, how much would that be?
Let me calculate it.
Yeah.
For every day, yeah.
Every day for 6 months. Or you could do a year if you want. You do 12 months, whichever's easier.
Okay. I'll do 6 months. That's 567
Yeah.
pounds.
567. Then we can look at the time. So if you put in 35 minutes a day times by 6 months daily.
Okay. That's 6,300 minutes.
Okay. Which one, if I said to you right now, like you have to give me £500 or you got to give me 6,000 minutes, which one would you prefer to give me right now?
Ooh. I think I prefer to give you the money.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can kind of see right there. Okay, now the decision making is going to be a lot different because you can clearly tell that when you're looking at the cost of something, everything changes at that point. So when you're next buying that Starbucks cup of coffee, you're going to be like thinking, okay, the price of it. This is every time you make a purchase. This is what you want to be doing. Literally, your thought process wants to be, okay, the price of it, £3.15. The price of it, 35 minutes. The
Yeah.
cost of it, £500 over 6 months. The cost of it, 6,000 minutes.
Yeah.
Do I want to keep on buying this Starbucks cup of coffee, knowing that it's going to cost me not only the 500, but also it's going to cost me the 6,000 minutes? Like that's kind of the mindset you want to have there. So then let's move on to the final thing, which is the value. So the value is what you receive and what you receive from now to forever as well. So as soon as you've made the exchange, it's what you personally receive over the entire time period. And I would say that the value is actually like what you receive minus the cost. That would be the total value. Right? So again, like you work it out with money, time, and attention. So if you're going to work out like the Starbucks, for example, for 6 months, what would be the value that you'd receive from the one-time purchase of the three
I
pound
don't think
fifty
I don't
coffee?
think there's any value.
there's a negative value, is what you say. Like,
Yeah. I don't think so. What value are you getting from it?
well,
It's
I mean,
just
you don't
like
get any
the
money.
time. Yeah,
You
you
don't get
don't
any.
get. Yeah.
You don't get time. You lose time. That's what I'm hearing. Um, and then in terms of attention, do you get any attention?
No, if I'm just going to get coffee, I don't get attention. No.
No, no. You just the main thing that you'll probably get is like the feeling Well, this is now like looking at like really if you want to become successful, one of the biggest things that's necessary is to cut out addictions. Like
Yeah,
if I'm being real, like that's that's the one thing that usually holds people back is the fact that they are cuffed to addictions. And when you start experiencing like more pressure within not only your business, your life, etc., you'll notice that these addictions will start to become a lot more difficult to stay on top of. So it's easy in the beginnings to like not drink coffee or not to eat sugar and all of these things, but then later down the line when the pressure starts being
yeah,
poured onto them, that's when you go for your comfort food. That's
yeah.
when you like watching the comfort stuff. So um, the the thing that you want to be able to like really eliminate just in general is all of the addictions. Now, where does addiction come from? Like, first of all, even before where addiction come from, what is addiction? Like, if you was to define addiction.
I think I would say addiction is something that you just can't stop doing, something like that. Like it's addiction is part of your brain, something in part of your brain that you can't stop doing, or something you can't stop eating or seeing, something that affects you in a negative way.
Hmm, that's one way of looking at it. Definitely, all of those things are true. Definition that I like for addiction, and this is going to help you see it in another lens, is that addiction is anything that almost works.
That almost
Yeah,
works.
addiction is anything that almost works. But what do you mean by that? What we mean by it really is that your addiction is the manifestation of an unconscious desire for something.
Yeah.
So when you think about, for example, like, okay, you know yourself, like let's say you're buying Starbucks cup of coffee every single day. Um, like we could even think more in general, like when people when you think of what's the biggest addiction right now that you just see generally with people? What's the biggest addiction?
Maybe vaping.
Mm,
Yeah.
that's a big one. So what do you think it might be that vaping is trying to solve? Because it almost works, but it doesn't work.
Um,
What feeling does it give people when they vape?
I think it makes them feel good. It gives them a buzz.
Right?
Makes them high on life.
Yeah. Gives them a feeling of like, I mean, chemically speaking, I think there's uh, there's some relief that comes in that with maybe some
Oh,
dopamine.
yeah,
Um,
relief. That's
yeah. So it's pain relief more than anything.
it.
What it sounds like with vaping, it doesn't sound like it's that pleasurable out of all the things that you could be addicted to. Um,
Hmm.
so the thing with vaping is okay. Well, when we're saying it's pain relief, what's the kind of pain that a person will usually be experiencing before they go and either have a cigarette or they vape? What kind of pain?
And emotional distress, I think.
Mm,
Yeah,
stress.
yes, stress.
Yeah. So do you know what stress is? S-
I can't explain it, but you go ahead.
I explain things in a very simple way. So stress is simply, as again, is another equation, and it's when you have higher demands over your resources, and not just demands, but it's actually your perceived demands over your perceived resources. That makes sense.
Mhm.
So when somebody's going to grab the cigarette or grabbing the vape, how do you think that's affecting the stress levels or the equation with the perceived demands and the perceived resources?
I'm not sure. You tell me.
Yeah. So essentially, it's like it's going to temporarily make them perceive that the demands are actually lower than they truly are. But
Oh,
then when the feeling subsides, reality kicks in and it's like, well, the demands are exactly as they were. It's just when you feel a certain way, the perception changes.
yeah.
Makes sense? So think about how that can work, for example, with a coffee. When you have a coffee, like, what does it do? It makes you feel alert. It makes you feel like you're
Yeah.
super awake. But what that's doing is it's changing the perceived resources, making you think that you've got more resources than truly what your body has. And then as soon as the high subsides from the coffee, it's, "Ah, I need another one the next day," um, because it's not solved the problem, it's just something that's almost worked.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, this is the thing, is that the more that you can, like, get to the root cause of what a problem is, the more that the stress levels will just naturally go down because you're actually, solving the demands that but if it's everything's just piling up, piling up, piling up, then, um, you're not actually solving the problem. So this was an example of like, okay, maybe not the best investment to make is a Starbucks cup of coffee. But I also know that you've made better investments over the last year. So if we look at the best investment that you've ever made, like what's the best investment that you've ever made before?
Like in my lifetime,
Could be, yeah.
or I'll just do last year
Yeah.
because I can't think of my lifetime. I'm not sure. The best investment would be using my attention and time for coaching calls.
Okay. So if we look at the price cost value there with this, the price of the coaching call, uh, let's say for like the entire package, whatever it was, what was the price?
Oh, what was the price? Oh, let me get it.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's in euros, so let's just have to calculate everything.
Okay.
So 1,125 euro.
Okay. So if it's 1,125 euros, that is the actual price. Now, what did it cost you? Well, it's
It
not even
costs
before it cost you. What was the price for you to actually get started out with that coaching program? Like, what did you have to do?
let's see, price is okay now. And what did I have to do? I just had to save up for a bit.
Yeah, but that doesn't really like that's not direct to um, putting in time. It's more like
Yeah.
you have to go and get the money, but to actually go and buy the thing, did you have to speak to a person? Did you have to go through
Oh,
a process? Like, what was the necessary thing?
oh yeah. So we went to a coaching masterclass for tutors. So they did a masterclass, and it was okay. But then that was it. Then she offered us 6 months of coaching for the same
Yeah,
price for early bird. So it was early bird not really a discount, but an early bird offer.
yeah. So we've got a price of how long was that masterclass?
It was 1 hour.
1 hour. So basically, the price of it was 1 hour, and it was also when we're looking at the monetary amount, just over £1,000. So when we look at now the cost of it, you said it was to you 6 months,
Yeah.
but it wasn't actually like 6 months because you um, weren't the entire 6 months spending time on those coaching calls. So when you look at how much it actually cost you, first of all, we'll look at what was the cost of jumping on the calls themselves. So how long was each call, and how many of them did you do over the 6 month period?
Oh, I haven't finished yet. But I'll just tell you how long the calls are. They're 1 hour.
1 hour, and you do them every 2 weeks. Is that right?
Yeah, yes. But
Yeah.
they don't focus on individuals. So it's kind of like a group call.
It's
And
just like a rehearsed structure, and you just
yeah,
yeah.
and it's
And this
not
is
really coaching.
this is literally what I'm talking about when it comes to the downside of outsourcing is the quality standards will drop very quickly because you can't do what I'm doing right now. Like what I'm doing right now is hyper personalized. So even if I wanted to give this to somebody else to replicate, they could only replicate like a framework. They couldn't necessarily replicate like the contents of what I'm offering because this is all very intuitive. So when you have somebody that gives you the intuitive experience, it's always going to be better. But um, it's just in a business sense, it's not as scalable. So the thing is that like with what you're describing in terms of the cost in a 6 month period, that's 6 times by two, so it's 12. It's basically cost you 12 hours. Yeah. And then any outside time of work that you put into that, like do you
Yes.
how many hours a week would you say that?
And maybe because I just went through the course. I'm just going through the course just to get it finished. I'm nearly done now. So I don't spend too long, like an hour a week.
Okay. So it
But
basically costs you
I've taken a break, but like I wouldn't say every week I do it for an hour.
yeah. So it's like another cost that is 24 weeks in 6 months. So that's 24 times by one is 24
Yeah,
hours on top. So in total, it's costing you 36 hours for that program in terms of time.
yeah.
Yeah. And then with money, like they're not telling you to invest anything else.
No.
Um, so you're not investing into any like parts of your business yet. You're getting knowledge, is what it sounds like. So that's the cost of it. Now, if we're looking at the value, so what's the value of um, that investment? Because this is what, from what it sounds like, makes it the best investment that you've made. It would be the value.
This was the best investment I made. Oh, I got confused. Because I'm not really enjoying it. Because it's not focusing on individuals. Like the coaching calls, like you just like to ask her questions, and then she just tells you like some things to do, but it's not really personalized. So I'm not
Mm.
really enjoying it. And I haven't been to two coaching calls, but there's replays. But yeah, so I don't know why I gave that example as the best purchase.
Maybe
So
it's just because like that is the best you've experienced so far.
yeah,
You know? That that is better than a Starbucks cup of coffee a day.
yeah,
Let's put it that way.
I'm still gaining knowledge. I'm still learning things, so that's good.
Yeah, and it's not costing you as much. Like I mean, in terms of minutes, then it might cost you similar amount to getting the coffee, but at least it's not like um, it. At least it has got some value to it as well. Like you like
Yeah,
as you said, you're gaining knowledge, you're gaining self belief, you're gaining like um,
skills.
skills, self worth. So there's quite a bit that you're actually gaining. but from what you feel like, it could have been better. So this is the thing. What is it that you think actually makes it so that you can guarantee you're going to have the best investment in terms of quality? Because so far we've got the Starbucks, we've got the investing in the coaching, and you've gone in terms of progression. Like, when we're in the gym, it's not about being perfect. It's just about progressing in the right direction. You've progressed. One of them was a clear liability to your time, attention, and your money. The second one didn't sound like it was as much of a liability. It was just the best self asset that you could have got into.
Yeah.
So that's one form of progression is you progress from having a liability to now like you've actually got an asset. So what would make your asset better quality?
Are you talking about my business or the coaching?
No, so because you haven't talked about investing into a business. So we
No.
looking at the coaching, what would make
Yeah.
better quality? I know you said, for example, having more personalization to it. So
Yeah.
the actual
And
code could be better quality. That's one thing.
yes. And
Yeah.
maybe also like check up, not really calls, but maybe like WhatsApp, like how are you getting on this week? What have you done? Maybe like checking up calls, checking up on WhatsApp, things like that before the coaching call.
Yeah. So there's
Like
the
support, more support.
there's the quality and then there's the quantity. So the quantity doesn't always have to be, as you said, doesn't have to always be like actual calls and conversations, but it could be through text messages and check-ins like that. That's another way that you can have more volume. So aside from having more quantity and quality from what you're getting, like what else could make it a better?
Um, what else? Trying to think. Can't think of any.
Okay. So let me ask you this question: like, if let's say, for example, you had um, like your sister who said to you, "Listen, I'm starting a new coaching business. Will you be my client?" You say, "Yeah, absolutely." And she's like, "Okay, cool. We'll do a session a week or every 2 weeks, same as you've done before for the next 6 months. Um, and I'm gonna do more check-ins with you. I'm gonna like actually be there to support everything that you've been looking for from before." Would you say that that would make it? So let's say she doubles the amount of calls that you do, and she also is willing to do check-ins. Would you say that it would be a better investment to go with your sister?
Yeah,
Why?
because they're putting more time and attention.
Yeah. Um, so let's say it's not your sister. Let's say it's like, do you have any nieces and nephews?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, let's say it's like one of your nieces.
Um, yeah, I think I would do it as well.
Yeah? Why?
Yeah. The same reason, more time and attention. They're putting in more time and attention for me to give me knowledge and skills and wisdom. And I feel like for the price that I would be paying,
Yeah.
it's good. It's good quality for that.
Okay. So let's now compare. Like we've got your sister, nieces, and nephews. I want you to imagine the coaching experience with them, trying to get to your goals. And they're going to do check-ins with you all the time. They're also going to be willing to jump on calls with you every week. I want you to now compare that to like having the same amount of sessions, but with someone like I'm trying to think of a entrepreneur that you might know. Someone like Stephen Bartlett.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I think I would choose Stephen Bartlett because he has a reputation.
Yes, of course you would. I mean, it's not even it's a no-brainer, right? Like you'd probably go with the person who has got the track record, the results, like with not just himself but helping other people. So um, now it's easy to do the comparison when they're offering the same thing in terms of quantity. So comparing Stephen Bartlett's like 6 months and also like one session per week, if he was to offer that and it was your sisters offering the same thing, it's a no-brainer to go with Stephen Bartlett, right? But what if like Stephen Bartlett was offering one session, it was 30 minutes, one to one, and that was it, charging the exact same price as your sisters and nieces who were willing to do it for 6 months and to do check-ins.
I would go with my sister and niece.
You would?
Yeah.
Why?
They're offering more.
So here's how we got to break it down. So we got to look at the price, the cost, and the value. So the price we know is the same,
Yeah.
right? Same price. Now the cost, what would be the difference? Because there is a difference there.
Um, what you pay forever internal costs. I think it's my time and attention because with Stephen, it's less time and less attention. But with
Mhm.
my sister and my niece, it's more time, more attention. So I'm gaining more knowledge and skills from them.
Exactly. So you've got like more time and attention that you're putting in terms of cost with your sisters. There's less
Yeah,
with Stephen. So just looking at those two things, if you're only assessing not necessarily what you personally put in, let's assume that what you put in with both of them is the same. You're going to put in like the few hours a week that you have available. But the actual training and coaching that you do with Stephen is only an hour or 30 minutes. But with them, it's going to cost you 12 hours or it's going to cost you like all those months. So if we're just seeing the cost as those two differences, so far, if you look at the two investments, knowing that the price is the same and the cost is lower with Stephen, which one's a better investment?
I don't know which one would be the better investment. Because would he tell me like would he give me so much information in that
So
30
this
minutes or 1 hour?
you're trying to get into the value. We'll do the value in a second.
Okay.
But just looking at the cost, which one is more? Which one's a better? Is the better investment?
Okay, because the others, like my sister and my niece, will be taking my time and attention, but with him, he's not taking my time and attention. So
Yeah,
maybe Steven might be because he's not taking my time and attention.
exactly. He's not taking your time. He's not taking your attention, and those are your two most valuable resources. So the cost is the best and the lowest with Stephen.
Yeah.
That's the better investment. Now, this is where it becomes more debatable. So, which one's actually more valuable? Is it more valuable to have one 30-minute conversation with Stephen Bartlett, or is it more valuable to have like an hour a week with your family members?
I think an hour a week with my family members.
Okay. So then we're looking at, right, well, what's the value of each of them? And how could you quantify that? So if we're looking simply per in terms of money, do you get any money straight away from speaking with your family members?
I don't think so.
No. So with Steven, would you get any money straight? Well, not necessarily straight away, but like, would you get money potentially from speaking with Steven?
I'd say so.
Potentially. So both of them have potential. Now, this is another thing that I want to show you, just so that we can be seeing the same thing when it comes to value. Is there's something called the value equation, right? Have you ever heard of the value equation before?
No.
Right. I'm gonna share this with you on my screen so that I don't have to explain it, and you can note this one down. This equation is like, if you know this equation, like, you'll win in business. This is this is the most simple but most important equation, I would say. So it's dream outcome times by perceived likelihood of achievement divided by time delay times by effort and sacrifice. Have you got it?
Not yet. 1 second. Yeah, got it.
Awesome. So, let me stop sharing my screen. So when we look at both of those, the dream outcome, let's say it's that you want to reach that point of financial sovereignty, um, and be able to not work in your job anymore. So that's the dream with both of them. Which one has the higher likelihood of actually getting you to that goal from the offers that they've made? So Stephen Bartlett, he has 30 minutes with you, and his challenge is within those 30 minutes to get you to your dream from one conversation. And your sisters, their challenge is to do it, and they get 1 hour per week for 6 months. Who's got a higher likelihood of winning? Where would you place
I
your bet?
think I think Steven. Do you think so?
Why do you think Stephen?
Because like you mentioned, he has a track record, and I'm not wasting my time.
Yeah, it's like, it's difficult to lead someone where you've not been before. Whereas if you've been there before and you've taken other people there with you, that's a lot easier. So for him, that goal of like what you're describing, making £2,000 at least a month so that you don't have to work in a job. Stephen probably did that for breakfast. Like, probably more than that, like, it's just nothing at this point. So for him, and you spending 30 minutes with him, just getting that kind of belief as well, that's probably way more valuable than spending all that time with them. I mean, and think about it even this way: what if that 30 minutes, you weren't just on a Zoom call with him, but you actually got to go into his office, see how he operates. He just walked you around and like showed you all of his achievements. Chances are you'd just be like, you know what? This guy's a normal human being. If he can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
You'd get the belief. And once you get the belief, you're like, I can do this. So then you realize that the true value that you get from the coaching and mentorship experiences usually is not going to be anything to do with the information that you're given. Because if it was, then the length of time that you spend with the coach is going to be the biggest determinant as to whether or not it's the best deal. But it's not the length of time, it's the length of time that the value sticks. Make sense?
Yeah.
If you get injected with some belief from Stephen Bartlett for 30 minutes and it fades away the next day because you're like, it was just motivational. That's not good. There's a difference between motivation and inspiration. Biggest difference? What do you think it might be?
Like motivation doesn't last all the time.
Hmm.
It's only temporary sometimes.
Yes. Biggest thing with motivation is that it's anything that comes from external. That's why it doesn't last. So I could be around motivation for a long time, but then as soon as it's taken away, it don't work anymore. Whereas with inspiration might not be as like what's the word? It might not be as intense in terms of the feeling of motivation, but how long it then lasts, and not just lasts, but starts to appreciate over time, is why inspiration is far more valuable than motivation. Now, if you're looking at the two now, when you compare Stephen Bartlett compared to your sisters, who do you think could give you more inspiration?
Sorry, Stephen.
Yeah. And do you think he would need that long? Like 30 minutes would probably be enough to give you inspiration.
Yeah.
And I share the anecdote with my personal experience when I met my mentor in Barcelona. Like, I think it must have been maximum a 15-minute conversation. That was 6 years ago. And that same conversation, I still talk about to every single person who I work with. The reason why is because from that 15 minutes that I spent with this guy who at the time, he had a business that did 100 million. Um, Now it's got to a point where it's done over 1 billion in sales. So I've literally witnessed the growth as well, but I've been able to, from that connection, 'cause I would never have felt the same level of inspiration as what I would have felt if I didn't actually get to shake hands, rub shoulders with him, he give me a hug, take a picture, everything like that. I just never would have felt that same inspiration. And the quality of the 15 minutes is going to determine everything because it's like some people, when they spend 15 minutes with you, like let's say, for example, it's Stephen Bartlett, you spend 15 minutes with him, but he's just like signing your autographs. That's probably not going to be the best 15 minutes. But if Stephen Bartlett genuinely wanted to give you inspiration in that 15 minutes, it's going to be an incredible 15 minutes. And so that's exactly what it was like for me is that 15 minutes changed my life. And that inspiration appreciated over time because that memory always stuck. And then everything else in terms of figuring out how to do the work, it just became natural. Why? Because like leadership isn't necessarily something that exists outside of you. Like no one is gonna one day give you a book, a CD, a DVD that you can plug in, and then after watching it, like you just become a leader. That doesn't happen like that. It's innate within. And it's just really about unlocking that. And once it's unlocked, then no matter what obstacle challenge is actually in front of you, you're gonna be able to take it head on and run towards it. So this is the thing is that like right now you're probably thinking, this is all good. This is inspiring. This is this is taking me in the right direction. But I want to know the skills. I want to know like how do I generate leads? How do I close sales? How do I scale like the business stuff? All of that's important too. But here's a really important formula to note down. 95% of your success is not going to be skill set. It's going to be mindset. 5% will be the skills, and maybe like 1% will be the tools that you have available. But that's really the key component. That's what separates the people who they do it for 3 months, they get a couple of quick wins, and then they quit, versus the ones that actually go on to become success stories. So going back to that example, we've got two investments. Looking at the value now, um, the top of the equation we've taken a look at with the likelihood of achievement and the dream. The bottom of the equation, we're looking at the time delay and the effort and sacrifice. So the time delay to get to the goal, if he was working with Stephen, you think like you'd be able to become free quicker from being inspired by a 30-minute, 15-minute conversation with Stephen versus what it would be
Yeah.
like. Yeah, so it'd be much quicker that you get the result, and how much effort and sacrifice that would take. Well, if you don't have that mindset and you also don't have the person who's had the results to be able to give you that confidence, then is it going to be more effort for you to get the results, or is it going to be less? Is it going to take more sacrifice or less?
I'm not sure. I don't think it's gonna be more sacrifice.
No, not more sacrifice. Is it going to be more effort?
No.
No, no. There's going to be more effort, more sacrifice when you're doing it with the family members because, like we said straight away, a lot more time just to do the coaching calls, etc. So this is the thing, like the ideal investment really is going to be the one where you, like I said, you have the highest value, lowest cost, and the price is actually irrelevant out of all of them. Of course, if you have the lowest price as well, fair enough. But how you want to assess it, ideally, wants to be value, cost, and price. Now, if you have a budget, then you can't just look at value straight away always, because otherwise you'd be able to invest millions, and we wouldn't be having this conversation. So the first thing that you probably want to look at for yourself when you're making an investment, what's the cost? What's the cost? And then after that, it's going to be looking at the price. But knowing the value part too is highly beneficial because when you're offering stuff to the people, you can really tailor the message and the packaging in such a way where it makes what you have even more desirable because you've sold the value. And people don't really buy based off of logic, they buy based off of how you make them feel, an emotion. Make sense? Yeah. So that's quite a bit that you've taken in so far. Let's do a little bit of uh, a check. Let's check and see how you've absorbed all of this. What's been some of your biggest takeaways?
The biggest for me would be learning about attention, time, and money is. as well as learning about what price, cost, and value is as well. So that's a good eye-opening option for me. Yeah, and learning that currency is in three forms: money, time, and attention. And what I give attention to, I get something in return. And also about value, abundance-based mindset. What you receive from now to forever minus the cost. So like that. I learned about what value is, and I got a great definition for addiction. That is anything that almost works, manifestation of unconscious desire for something. So those are my big takeaways from the session.
Those are some good notes. Those are some good notes, and you can even write this final one down as well, which is whoever takes the most notes tends to make the most notes.
Oh, now I get it. You make money, you make the most notes.
Yeah.
Now I get it.
This is it. Like, if you saw how many books I've got full of notes, it's like, it's crazy. And this is one of the things, like, I literally teach people when you're first getting started out in any kind of program where you're genuinely serious about it. Like, I would even create a Google Docs and put all the notes in there. Two reasons: one, you can type faster, and the second one is that it's just a lot more structured, stored. And when you're searching for notes, it's so much easier to do Control F versus like going into a book and trying to remember exactly where you wrote it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's my personal recommendation. You can take it or leave it, but um, yeah, there's quite a bit we've gone through so far today. Was there anything else that you specifically wanted to ask as a question
Yeah.
that you?
Yeah. So I just wanted to know. So we talk about freelancing and agency. So what is the best model?
Mm, that's a good question. So one way to view it, I'd love to pull out my Venn diagram that I made on this, um, where I kind of broke down how this works. But let me see if I can quickly find it. Um, Here's what you can write down whilst I'm looking for it: is there is no perfect business model. Number one,
Okay.
there's no perfect one. There's a best one for sure for you personally, but there is no perfect one. The same way where, like, you could have a person that's going to be a potential um, husband. Like, you're going to try and find the person who is necessarily perfect, but the parts of them that people don't necessarily like, you're either happy with them, you love them, or you find a way to make it work. Um, it's the same thing with your business model too. Um, so let me pull this up real quick, and I'll share the screen. Here we go. How do I share screen here? We'll just go entire screen. Here we go. Can you see?
Yeah.
Beautiful. So here's the thing. Like I said, with the perfect business model, it's like you want to have the trifecta. You want to have something where, ah, man, this is the wrong visual. But these two are not supposed to be the same. This is supposed to say perfect opportunity. There's the perfect machine for that opportunity, and then you've also got the perfect opportunist. So imagine that doesn't say machine. What does that mean? It means that the person themselves has to be the perfect person for it. So let's say, for example, like if you was to look at right now, what would you say your gift is? You have a gift.
I used to be really good at like rapping and
Okay.
dancing growing up, like performing growing up.
Okay.
But in maybe in terms of my business, yeah, people always used to say that I was a great teacher.
Okay. So this is the thing. Like as a gift, that's two great gifts because I'd say the logical thing to do would be to just go into teaching or go into dancing, go into rapping. But I wouldn't say that's the smartest thing to do because the smartest thing is to look at what's going to give you the highest returns off of those um, gifts that you have been blessed with. And so now that we know that there's three currencies, we also know that there's three types of returns, right? So you can write these down. Three types of returns. There's ROI, ROE, and ROL. Do you know what those are?
Return on investment, return on oh, I can't remember. You told me this before. It's in my notes.
You gotta make them again. Uh,
Yeah,
ROI is the return on investments. That's with the money. ROE is your return on energy. So that's with your attention.
that's what I was thinking. I was saying energy.
Yeah. And then ROL is your return on life. That's with
Yeah.
your time, right? So um, when you're looking at okay, the gifts that you've been given, what's going to give you the highest returns on these gifts? Not just thinking about the what most people do that are just similar type people that will make the decision based off of price with scarcity mindsets are the type of people that will make a decision about a model based off of the ROI only. So when you're looking also from an abundance place and not just purely fear and scarcity based, you're going to look at what business model do I want to get into that's going to give me the highest ROE and the highest ROL on the gifts that I've been given. Because the gift is going to dictate how well that you can actually succeed with that. So here's what I would say is like, okay, the two things that you've described tells me that number one, if you're good with rapping, you must be a great communicator, born communicator.
Yeah.
So here's another way of looking at it. When I'm looking at the best kind of opportunity, it's going to be something that has the highest level of value. So there's four levels of value. Level number one is what I call implementation. Implementation is where you essentially get paid for your physical assets because you use your muscles to make money. Level number two is what we call unification.
Sorry,
So
what's it called? Unification.
unification, as in like unifying. Yeah. So unification is where you are using your management skills to make your income. And then level number three is where this is where everything starts to open up truly because you transition from just being someone who is a producer or a manager to now you become a leader. And as a leader, in the third level, we have communication. So that's where you're using your mouth to make money. And then the pinnacle level is the imagination. And this one has two resources. So you're using not only your mind, you're also using your money. And when you use your mind and money together, that's how you can make the maximum. So here's what I was about to say is that with the two gifts that you're describing of like being able to rap, to dance, that's all communication, you know? And it's the same thing with the teaching. I'd say teaching is like management slash communication, both of those things. It's leadership, really. So when you're thinking about what's the best model to get into for yourself, I'd be asking myself, okay, where do leaders thrive the most? What is it that leaders have about them that makes them most valuable? What is what is it that a leader does that is different and unique to others?
I think the way they communicate.
Yeah. What does that do to the people though? Like when I'm communicating to you right now, for example.
It's inspires people
Mm. So it can actually inspire them to do what?
to
Or
their
what yeah.
desires, dreams.
So it inspires them to move, essentially. That's what it does. So you as a leader, you can inspire people to take action, right? So here's the thing. If you think about how is that valuable to a company, what makes because remember, a company is a group of people. It's a group of producers, managers, and leaders. Out of the three, we know that leaders are the most valuable, right? Then it's managers, then it's producers. So if you're a leader, how is that valuable to the company if you can get people to move to inspiring them?
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah. How is a leader valuable to a company through their um, talent of inspiring people to take action? How would a company benefit from
I think because it will inspire the producers, the employees, inspires them to not. mm, I don't want to say work harder, but maybe work smarter. Inspires them to work smarter.
I think you're onto it, right? So if we can keep it simple, it's like, yeah, you can inspire them to work harder because there's nothing wrong with hard work. For
Okay.
producers should be working harder, right? You can get them to work smarter too, but simply put, you want producers to be putting in more quantity and more quality. So when you're a leader and you're inspiring your producers, they're going to put in more quantity and they're going to put in more quality. How is that valuable to a company if you've got an army of producers that are now working harder and smarter?
I think it would be cost, the money. They get money in return.
So that would be the value. If you get the returns is always value, right? So
Yeah.
if the return is higher, it's going to be the value is higher, so they can have more output, right? Is there anything else? Leader can produce more output. Anything else a leader can do?
Sorry, I'm just writing that down.
Yeah.
A leader gives their attention.
You want to elaborate?
Like they use these. Let me just get the notes. 1 second. Yeah, so they're giving their attention to get something in return. Like they're giving their attention to the managers and producers. So like what they get in return is, like you mentioned, the quality and the quantity of the producers and the managers as well, working
Well,
smart.
the company benefits by having more productivity is one thing that you mentioned.
Yeah.
Is there any other way that the company benefits?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah. Is there any other way that the company benefits?
Uh, I'm not sure. I don't know. Can't think of any.
Okay. Well, if you look at the three main things that the company could potentially experience, they're either going to experience higher value, higher cost, higher price. They can experience all three. So we've looked at the value. The value is higher to the company because they have like higher productivity. How would it affect the cost by having a leader in your company?
I don't know.
Do you think the cost would go up or would they go down?
Oh, like the cost for the company.
Exactly. Yeah.
The
If you
cost will
just
go down
cost could go down. Why do you think that might be?
because like the leader is like doing their job well and has gotten the managers and the producer to work well, work smarter, more
Mm,
productivity.
this is it. So this is the thing. When you think about who's the greatest leader of all time,
Jesus.
of course it is. It ain't Muhammad. So, like, let's say Jesus is the best leader of all time. Um, do you remember the story of how he had the bread and he's like got 500 or so people that they're going to eat the bread and they all feel full at the end of it.
Yeah.
Now, a producer can't do that, but a leader can because
Yes.
if you give something small to a leader will take that something small and make it bigger. So a leader doesn't see the seed in a fruit or a seed in the tree, but they see the tree and the fruit in the seed.
Can you repeat that last part?
Yeah. A leader doesn't see the tree. Oh, sorry, they don't see uh, the seed as people usually would. They don't just see a seed, and they don't look at the trees and the fruits, but the leader's looking at the tree and the fruit in the seed. What does that mean in simple terms? What separates regular people, producers and managers from leaders is one word, one word is vision. Vision, right? So again, if we look at the four levels of value, you've got implementation, you've got um,
Unification.
communication, got it, communication and imagination. And at all levels, it's just vision. That is like the most important piece. So the founder of a company, their job is to give vision to the company. And then like the next levels is going to be you've got people who are going to be communicating that vision to everyone else. And then the next level of that, you've got managers who are managing the people who are implementing the vision in real time.
Yeah.
That's the main essence of the company. So if we're looking at, right, with your gifts of communicating, teaching, and you could say creative expression as well, like what company will find that beneficial? Every company. Every company would find that beneficial, including the one that is the one that you call your own. But the main thing is when you have a vision, like, you know, when you're actually looking at so many people are leaders. In fact, I believe that everyone is a leader. In every follower, there's a hidden leader. So the question now is like, in terms of vision, are all visions as good as each other? No, not necessarily. What would make your vision better quality than other people's vision?
Maybe the mindset aspect.
Okay. When I say vision, like what do you think that word means? What does that word mean for you?
It's like your imagination and what you want to accomplish in life, like the bigger goal, the bigger picture, like the ideas that you have.
Okay. Let me help you with the definition then. So
Thank you.
here's the biggest difference. What you just described was a dream. Okay. And the reason why is because a dream is just one person's, whereas a vision belongs to a collective of people. So here's my question. You said that Jesus was the best leader of all time. Do you know what Jesus' vision is?
Yes.
What is it?
So he wants people to be saved, and I think that's his vision. His vision is to have people saved through Christ Jesus. So they can go to heaven, and in Judgment Day, when Jesus comes back, will be you'll be resurrected.
Oh no, 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 no. That's not his vision.
Okay.
That's not his vision. I'll tell you why it's not his vision. It can't be his vision because all of that stuff came after he died. Right?
Okay. So tell me
Af-
what his vision is. I want to know.
Yeah. So Jesus' vision, like all of this came from before he passed away because he was preaching from the age of 30 and he passed away like 3 years afterwards. And everyone was discipling and following him. Why?
Yeah.
His leadership and his vision. So his vision, the first thing he said when he came back and started preaching was repent,
Ah, yes.
which repent means to change your mindset.
Yeah, change your
Don't
mind.
don't see the current circumstances. See how I'm going to tell you to see, like see things differently. Repent because the kingdom of God
Is at
is upon.
hand. Yeah.
Exactly. So what's his vision?
To repent because the
Well,
king.
that's the instruction. That's like
Oh,
his
change your
direction.
mind. Change your mindset.
But the actual vision itself for everyone is the kingdom,
Yeah, Kingdom Academy.
God's kingdom. Yeah. So it's so simple that everyone was able to understand the vision and they were able to believe the vision.
Yeah,
That's how he was able to recruit his disciples.
that's what
So
I meant.
yeah,
Exactly.
it's similar to what you said, but
But not quite. But that's exactly his vision. I'm a Christian, so when you said that, I was like, oh yeah, that's
I'm not lying. Yeah.
it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So this is the thing is that when you're thinking about, okay, as a leader, um, what's the best quality vision? What made Jesus's vision so good? It wasn't just the simplicity, it wasn't just the believability, but it was also something that people wanted. Why? Because if he was successful, then it meant that everybody else's dreams would be fulfilled. So when you're curating a vision, the simple thing is to make sure that your vision is big enough for other people's dreams to fit into. So here's how you can curate a vision really easily is you simply ask, because when you think about having the company is like almost, you can see it as there's two sides of it. You've got the inner part of the company and you've got the outer part. Same way that when you've got a human body, there's like the inner part of the body and then there's the physical outer experience and the exterior. The inner part of your body is probably the main important part, and that is the people in the organization. This is the producers, this is the managers, this is the leaders. They have to have that vision. The outer part is for your customers, your clients. So when you're curating your vision, like when you're asking a question of is what would be the dream experience or what would be the dream result for my clients, my customers, and what would be the dreams for the people that actually work for me too? And then once you've been able to assess, like, okay, I think the dream is this across the board, this is what people want. Maybe there's some different dreams in there, but when you can simplify it to maybe two or three that are coming up, then you can be like, okay, let's have a vision. And that is what makes a great founder, truly, a great leader, is not only the quality of the vision, but like I said, um, the simplicity. And then all you've got to do as a founder is just simply teach that vision to other people. So you know what your dream is. What's your dream? Yeah, what's your dream?
Like in terms of my business.
No, just so you can say your dream in terms of your business, but what do you care more about, your life or your business?
My life.
Your life, right? So what's your dream in terms of your life?
My dreams in terms of my life is just to remain healthy, to and also to improve my mental health, to have quality time with the people that I love. So I think that's it.
Okay. So if I was to describe that like in a sentence, your dream is to be a leader of a health community or a leader in a health community. That's your dream.
Yeah.
So here's the thing is that, as you said, you want to be spending time with the people who are just like you. You want to be spending time with people that you don't love, you don't get along with. So chances are those people will just be like you as well. You might not have to necessarily go and ask your clients. You might not necessarily have to go and ask all of the people who are going to work in your team. You'll just know that this is something that exists within me. Chances are there's going to be a bunch of other people who are like me too. And so this is the difference of what I was talking about in one of my previous videos is that there's your ego tribe and then there's your soul tribe. So you could build a company, you could build a business, and everyone in that company hates you. You hate everybody else, and you're just fighting with each other all the time. That would be hell. That's what happens when you build an ego tribe. The
Yeah.
soul tribe is the opposite. It's like everybody in your company, your community, everyone is your soulmate. You are all like got similar values, believe in the same vision, similar principles. Like that's your soul tribe. So this is what you can be doing as a leader is you can think, okay, my dream is to be a leader within a health community. What's my vision?
I'm not sure what my vision would be.
Okay. So here's the easy way to do it is you want to ask yourself, how many clients do you personally want in the next 6 months? And if your goal is that you want to be making, what did you say, 2K in a month or 5K? What was
3.
3K? So if your goal is to make 3K and your product or offer is, I don't know, you can price it whatever you want. This is another thing about a model is that you've got the low ticket models and you've got the high ticket models. So if you have a low ticket model, you can price it at £30, whatever your offer is. If you have a high ticket model, you can price it at 3,000.
I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm pricing mine £300 a month for 2 sessions a week.
Okay.
So that's
So
like 37.5 per session.
yeah. So if you think about it, it's like per session, that's a low ticket model, I would say.
Yeah.
37 and 0.5. Now there's nothing wrong with low ticket models. It's just that like it's a different game that you're gonna be playing. And the dream that you're going to be offering to people is going to be a lot lower than it would be with a high ticket model. High ticket model is like a bigger dream. Um, so typically speaking, like low ticket's easier to market, whereas high ticket is easier to sell.
So low ticket is difficult to market.
No, no, low ticket is easier to market. High
Okay.
ticket is easier to sell. Why do you think that might be?
I feel like high ticket is easier to sell because people believe in the vision.
or the value.
The yeah, or the value exactly.
Yeah. And why would marketing low ticket be easier to market?
I think low ticket would be easier to market because I'm not sure.
The main reason I'd say is just because the market would be bigger.
Oh yeah, exactly.
That's it, right? Like if you're selling something that's £1 million, it's a high ticket at the highest level, to get a lead that's £1 million lead that can actually afford it, I mean, it's going to be 0.001% of people. Whereas if you're marketing something that's low ticket, then you can just find tons of people, anyone that's got a hobby, a plus, they'll buy it. So you've got low ticket, you've got high ticket. Um, for yours is more low ticket, I would say.
Yeah,
Um, and so if you look at how many clients that you'd be looking at, I know you want to do um, almost like repeat buys with the people, but that would mean that in a month, 10 people is what you're looking at.
no, so like since the course is exams, so they're gonna stay on for like 6 months.
Yeah, but you make £3,000 the first month if you had 10 people.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Um, so if you have a vision of like for the whole 6 months, you could do it that way, or you could do a vision for like 1 month of just the first month, and say you're going to take the first 10 people, um, and just simply sell whatever the dream is for them. And as you said, like the dream for them is similar to what the dream is for you, to be in a community where they're healthy and they're happy because they're surrounded by people that they want to be surrounded by. That's the main thing. So the biggest mistake that people tend to make when it comes to like marketing is that they'll market the vehicle instead of the destination. So the main thing that you want to be doing in your marketing is simply showing people the vision, showing them that you're living the dream, and then communicating that this is my vision, this is where we're going. Do you want to come with? It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And like I said, don't just be thinking about what your vision is for your clients and customers, but think about what's the vision for people who are coming into the team. We're going to be working with you as producers, as managers, because you could be sowing seeds right now with the right people. What you'll find is that it's actually much harder to recruit people for the inner team than it is to just find clients. Because clients don't have to be aligned with your values. You don't have to have the same level of trust with your clients. They just got to pay you. They just got to show up. But the actual people in the team, these are people you got to trust. These are people that they got to be aligned with the vision. Otherwise, you're not going to get the work done. So your vision. This is something that you can be having a little bit of a think about, as I guess you could say as homework. You know, everyone says have a vision board, And I think it's a good thing to curate. Don't know, have you ever had a vision board before?
Yeah, I have years ago. But I don't
Okay,
remember. I had like fashion, travel,
right.
exercise, different things on
Yeah. And I'd say that's probably more like a dream board
Yeah,
because it's just for you.
yeah,
So what you truly want to do is you want to change that dream board to becoming a vision board. And put on there, like, you know, what is it that you want for the vision of the company? And then once you've started to kind of put some ideas together, mood board, and just seeing what's in your mind, in your dreams right now for your people, seeing that for them, all as a collective, where you've got in 6 months' time, 10 people that are going to be paying you 3,000 because you're going to help them get to their dream. So you can already see there's a minimum of 10. There might just be for 10 people, just one person that's leading those 10 people, which could be you. But what I also would recommend is like that's more of a short-term goal. You want to have a long-term vision. So making 3K in a month, like that's great, but what's better than 3K in a month?
20.
Exactly. So when you start thinking 20, that it's just the only thing that really changes is the vision. And you just want to become super clear and specific on what that looks like, breaking it down. How many clients? What do those clients dream of having? How can I communicate that dream? And one of the main things that you want to be doing as well as a founder, as a leader, is selling yourself on that vision. Because if you don't believe in it, how are other people going to believe in it? Make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. Any other questions?
No.
Okay. Well, we can kind of wrap things up there. But um, would you say the call's been valuable so far?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. So valid.
Yeah. Better than the uh, non-personalized experience that you had,
Yeah,
previous investment.
exactly. Yeah. And this
Yeah.
is one to one, so it's great.
Yeah. One to one. And it's a lot more than just here's how to set up an Instagram.
Exactly.
It's crazy, but this is the main thing. If there's people who are living their dreams by teaching people how to set up Instagrams, then you should just know for yourself that there's no way you should be like working in a job 9 to 5 when you have leadership potential.
Yes, I get you. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, most welcome.